The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Jacksonville, Florida, weighing in at 256 pounds, the
I don't always agree with it, but this superstar isn't afraid to come out here and take things by force.
Oh, you hypocrite. I'll just wait until another superstar, one you don't like, Saxton, decides to come out and take what they want, and we'll see how you respond then.
Having health insurance is important. So if anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check the mail for your renewal form. This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. And that same fella is going to be talking about WrestleMania 27. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years since this show happened. I don't know. On the one hand, this feels like it was like 20 years ago. On the other, it feels like it was about 5 years ago. But it finally happened in Atlanta. It felt like Atlanta was long overdue for a WrestleMania, and this one happened at the Georgia Dome. And it featured The Rock's return to WWE for the first time in like 7 years. It was promoted as a dual-branded event between both SmackDown and Raw on April 3rd, 2011. It featured 3 main events, and I believe it's the only WrestleMania in history where no titles changed hands. And it was reported that Atlanta won out over Miami for the rights to host the event. Why do you think it took so long for Atlanta to get a WrestleMania? It feels like, you know, it's a major town. It's an old wrestling town. They've got the facility. I don't know. It just felt long overdue for me. What say you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I really don't know why it took so long. Somebody out there will tweet us back that it was a conspiracy. It's all about politics or some shit. It could have been about routing. It could have been about building availability on that particular. The needs for WrestleMania staged the event because it has grown exponentially. It's a huge consideration because you don't need it just on the day of the show. You need it for a week, right? Get everything set up and all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know why people would complain about it, but nonetheless, it was overdue. The dome was full. It was I remember Jan and I flying. One of those lucky deals for me is I could fly nonstop from Oklahoma City to Atlanta, and that was kind of nice. Sure. She and I went out there. I was only booked to do some duty at WrestleMania because I think that was where Cole and Lawler had their epic match. I used that tongue-in-cheek wise. I always thought Lawler deserved more than a gimmick match with an announcer. Right. I did. That's what he got. And he seemed to be happy with it, but what choice did he have but to be happy with it? Because that's what you're booked to do. And that tongue-in-cheek wise, I always thought Lawler deserved more than a gimmick match with an announcer. Right. I did. That's what he got. And he seemed to be happy with it, but what choice did he have but to be happy with it? Because that's what you're booked to do. And so I was called in to all that because I was already being phased out. And then I had to stay an extra day because Michael Cole had to quote-unquote get his heat back. And I remember him squirting in the face with the barbecue sauce. And of course, nobody told him not to squirt in my eyes. And he did. I couldn't see shit. It was burning, and I temporarily blinded. I got an old heel spot in a spot shot. I couldn't see. And it also ruined my $1,000 hat, which they paid for. And but it was a unique weekend, to say the very least. I probably have never been as feeling unwelcome. Or I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time than I did over that show. I had no joy from working WrestleMania 27. No. Now, I didn't phone shit in. I worked hard based on what I had to work with. But it's hard to make Lawler and Cole a Funk Briscoe Classic.
Right.
Ain't gonna happen. So you gotta take that into consideration how you call it. So anyway, it was an interesting weekend. Jan had a great time. You know, we used to live in Atlanta. So for that, I was very happy back there. Went to a couple of our favorite restaurants. But that's about the most fun I had, taking my late wife to dinner, seeing some old friends that I knew while we lived there. But man, it was just going to the event. And then the next day, little sidebar, on that Raw, my phone rang early. We were getting ready to go to the airport. There's like 2 or 3 nonstops a day from Atlanta to Oklahoma City on Delta. And so we're packing and getting ready to go to the airport. And I got a phone call. And my intuition said, don't answer it. And trying to be the professional that I profess to be, I answered. Hey, we need you tonight. I don't remember who called me. We need you tonight. And didn't know what I was going to do. But I knew that if Cole was knocked down a peg creatively with Lawler the night before, Conrad, that they probably going to do something to get him back, re-enhance him somehow.
Sure.
And who's better to be made to look like a fool in this scenario than me? So I went there, and of course, my intuitions were right. It was just me to be there to be embarrassed. And here's the thing. So, well, how can you be embarrassed? You know, it's fiction and it's work. The deal is, but it's an unnecessary piece of fiction. The deal is over. It's done. And I was really, when that show was over on Sunday and Monday, even though it was a big success, the stadium looked great. I done Falcon football there in the early 90s in Atlanta. Lived there, as I said, loved it. But, you know, dang, man, how much barbecue can a Southern boy eat? So it was just not fun. And, but that's not going to affect the show. But bottom line is that of all the WrestleManias that I got the privilege of working, this was probably one that I was nonplussed over. Not because of the event, because of my own personal situation. If that makes any sense to you.
Jim, I know it's been a long time, but you did get to call the last 4 matches that night. So while it may have started with the foolishness of Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, certainly you had to call the Snooki match. You did get the main event. You got the main event of WrestleMania, John Cena and The Miz. But maybe most notably, and I know this was right here, I look at the thing. Somebody somewhere called in the paper. You guys called The Undertaker and Triple H. People have talked about that match. It's probably the biggest show still.
Very good. Yeah, it was very good. Well, you know, Hunter may not want to say it today in today's marketplace. And Tucker wouldn't give a shit. He's just that kind of guy. He says what he wants to say, what he feels. Truthful. So I think both those guys were, you know, both those guys were motivated for me to call their match. That's not the first time. Because I had a seriousness, reality, and it wasn't a gimmick to me. And I was also in a place where if Vince was screaming at me in the headset, I don't recall if he was or not that night, I know I would break a shred. I would just, if I didn't feel a fit, I would ignore it. Because I know you're going to get rid of me anyway. So at least I'm going to go out with some degree of respect, ability. So anyway, yeah, but still, the Monday experience tainted what I did the night before WrestleMania. And I'm not saying I didn't enjoy working the show as far as the show was concerned. It's just I think that may have been the place or the tipping point where I was thinking, you know, if I never call another WrestleMania, I'm cool. I really am. And that's going to sound like, you know, I thought JR was a real fan. I guess not. You guys can tweet about that too if you want to. I don't give a fuck about that either. I am a real fan. You know, such a real fan that having to endure some of that ridiculous schoolboy Mickey Mouse bullshit was, I'd had enough of it. It was unnecessary. The joke had played its way out, Conrad. I was tired of it. I was tired of the whole damn thing in that regard. And maybe that's all my fault. I'll also say I got paid well. It always comes back to that. Well, McMahon made you a billionaire, so I don't know how you can be unhappy. I'm not unhappy about my run there. I'm unhappy about certain things. The atmosphere, how it changed. For me, DNI was just, it was over it. So, anyway, that was kind of a little preface to the show. So maybe I'm not going to be harsh on the show because anything was a bad show. Just for me personally, which really doesn't matter, it was not the enjoyable WrestleMania moment. You know, Lawler still talks about his WrestleMania moment, and I can't tell sometimes if he's being serious or just placating the scenario, the situation. Because how in the hell could a guy that's one of the greatest workers of all time who had wrestled all the top stars in the history of wrestling during his era, how could he look at this in all seriousness and say, well, that was my WrestleMania moment. I'll never forget it. The question is, you're never going to forget it for what reason? Because it was embarrassing. This is the best that he could come up with. And so anyway, we'll get into that as we go through it. What fights do you know?
I like when we start with Red Ass JR. Next up, Brock is with Eve Torres, Mae Young, and then Rock and Austin run into each other and shake hands. Pretty surreal moment, but it happens, I don't know, backstage. Why not have this happen in front of a crowd? Maybe protect away from the other plans later in the day, but you gotta assume they just would have went bananas to see this happen with an audience.
Yeah, but Conrad, you got to remember they already saw Rock out there.
Yeah.
And the theory is always going to be don't overexpose these returning megastars to the live audience too much. I bet you if you ask Rock and Austin, do you want to do this in a backstage thing, or do you want to go do it in front of the crowd? Both of those guys would have said, let's do it in the backstage. Because we're going to see Austin again too.
Right.
And we're going to see Rock again. We've already seen him out there once. So I think that was the logic behind that deal, and I don't disagree with it.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're going to notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.
Get ready with Dyson, using our patented technology. Dry, curl, and shape using Coanda airflow and no extreme heat. Give the gift of invention in special edition blue blush with exclusive accessories. Only at Dyson.
My name is Polly Van Dam. I'm a mother and a musician, and I have diabetes. I need to know my glucose levels when I'm up on stage. I was on a different CGM. It wasn't easy to use. It didn't seem accurate. Now life is much easier with it.
This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. We gotta address the elephant in the room. Jim Cornette has become legendary for having these blow-ups. Did you ever see one in the early days of Mid-South? Did you not see that full leg rocket or something?
Matches like these with talent.
There weren't many blow-ups, double blow-ups in Mid-South. There were some, but they weren't frequent, and they didn't last long. But that's not how the territory was run. That's just not how it was going to work in Cowboys territory. He had rules, he had discipline, and he had structure. And some guys adhered to it and worked for them. They used it to their advantage. And some guys were defiant and they felt this esprit de corps of being more independent thinking. I see Cornette blow up. I've seen him blow up in booking meetings. I've seen him blow up anytime he had to fly someplace, he was stressed out. I remember we had a TV in Halifax. And, you know, it's one of those deals where you can't get there from here. So I remember us leaving New York on a Saturday. And we had to make one or two connections to get into Halifax. And, of course, that was just more airplanes. And he despised the airplanes.
You can see
He has, and he still does, a bona fide fear of flying. A lot of people do. And he's not the only guy in the wrestling business that didn't like flying. But he detested it. It made him nauseous, made him sick, physically ill. Quick story on that one. We're flying from Newark to Seattle and to go do TV in Vancouver. That makes any sense. It doesn't make sense. The flights domestically are a little cheaper than the international. Because once you get to Seattle, it's a pretty easy drive to Vancouver. It's doable. So we're in Newark, and the guy, John Baldastri, was a Continental Airlines representative, and he would upgrade a lot of the guys. So he upgraded Cornette and I. He said, "I'm going to upgrade you guys." "Oh, great, thanks a lot." It was a long flight. 5 or 6 hours, whatever it was. And I said, I think to myself, "Please, God, put us in separate seats. Don't put us in." Sure enough, my least favorite seats on the airplane were the bulkhead. And so we were in the bulkhead, sitting next to each other. So then we go, Cornette's with this ritual where he takes this prescription medication to calm him down. And I'll use Xanax, because I don't know any names or any other stuff. You take a look at Xanax, and you take something else. He told him he had to take them in a certain time limit interval. So he did. So the time we got on the plane and seated, buckled in to our first class bulkhead seats, right, on Continental Air, he was already gone. So I remember the lady, the flight attendant saying, "Does your friend want something to drink?" She started to reach over and shake him or touch him. "Oh, no, don't do that. He's good. If he needs something, we'll let you know. But thank you." I didn't want to wake him up. Hell, he knew how he was going to react. So all works out real well, Andre, after we get out of the tarmac, right? I remember this vivid like it was yesterday. The captain goes on and says, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, news from the air traffic control. We're 17th in line to take off." 17th. Now, what that does, it screams delay. Delay, Bill Roberts, delay. And so he's slipping through the whole damn thing. So all that works out real well. We finally take off. And I'm going to tell you that we're somewhere where, the Midwest. Maybe Minnesota, Dakota, so we're a couple hours left on the flight. And he wakes up.
Booking.com. I'm going to somewhere and you
Want to know, are we almost there?
Obviously,
Then in the middle, there's little monitors in front of your seats, where you judge your flight. He looks at that son of a bitch, and I thought he was going to try to parachute out. So he said, you got to talk to me. You just got to talk to me. Listen, what do you mean to say? I don't care, just talk to me. So I talked to him, but we were talking about football. He didn't up in the booking, and we got kayfabe, we can't talk about the booking. So finally, I started singing to him. He said to sing to me. Okay. And then I was singing. For some reason, I knew Youngstown. And one of the lyrics was, "I caught you knocking on my cellar door." And I think people thought we were gay. Not there's anything wrong with that. But cellar door was a metaphor for something else. And so I sang to him. I told him stories. I tell him he had a good time. So we finally got to Seattle. And then to make matters worse, he demanded to drive. He's coming off this fall, loopy. Oh, buddy. So I remember we rented a Lincoln. before the Lincoln was ready for us, big car. We crossed over the border to Canada, and the guys at the border recognized us. And of course, they're screwing around. He says, we need to look at your trunk. Now, I don't have any idea what Cornette was carrying in a suitcase. I know it wasn't drugs. It wasn't contraband. At least I didn't think so. I still don't think so. But, he goes to this promo. Motherfuckers can't touch my shit. Nobody's gonna touch my shit. Fuck you. Didn't think so. I still don't think so. But, he goes to this promo. You motherfuckers can't touch my shit. Nobody's gonna touch my shit. Fuck you. Oh, this is good. So the guy looks at me because, good old JR is always a reason. So I said, I finally get him off to the side. And I said, you guys don't see what he's doing, do you? No, I said, we can't have this kind of conduct. Subduing, put him in a cell or something. And I'm thinking, I've got to think of this quick now. Here's the deal. He's a what you call a bad guy. He's a villain. And he doesn't want to see you guys see him out of character. So all he's doing is staying in character and trying to entertain you in his villain persona. I got it. That's so good. So I convinced him that even though he was shooting, he wasn't bullshit. That he was bullshit. So, that's good. Kill somebody. Okay, easy then. That's when I intervened. The line of he's just my character. So then we relived that about 30 times between Seattle and Vancouver. He's still in a fall because it's terrifying, the medication he took to get there, get to work. And then we get about a block from the hotel. He wants to make a right on the red. And you ever been to Vancouver on the red? No. It's a great place to visit, really, truly. It's a beautiful city. It's very multicultural. There's a lot of different ethnicities that live there. It's a really cool town. Vancouver's a really cool town, beautiful. But we stopped at the stop sign. He wants to make a right on the red. And he didn't want to wait till the light changes so we can make a legal right. So he got the people are walking. He started cutting promos in every ethnic group that he could see. And the winners were right, thank God. So no one heard him. But then he returned back in the seat, put his feet on the steering wheel. They started stomping the steering wheel. Which you'd honk the horn, incessantly, and you stomp him away. But he finally had it. He'd gone as far as he could go. We made it that we finally got the turn, that red. Make a right turn. I think I didn't turn for him. He's pissed off with the traffic laws. Pissed off with the people walking by. And then it doesn't return. And then I didn't see him again for 24 hours. I think he went to sleep. It just hibernated. He's the kind of guy that would go to a hotel and never allow the maids to come in his room. I don't want to touch my shit. They're going to touch my shit, I'm going to have it. That's the deal. So his travel was a big issue for him. So when you talk about the travel, driving was 2,000 plus miles a week. If you're a main event guy in the Mid-South back in that era, you're working all the big clubs, that would generally equate to about a 2,000 plus miles a week.